Natalie AI thing seems utterly preposterous and ridiculous, and even for an MCU show, I'm finding it to be a little bit of a bridge too far to go. The heist crew, all lame. Every single one of them, all lame.
An uncomfortable place for viewers as we find out more about the crew.
Here's the squad. Clown, our pyrotechnic specialist.
There's Clown, our pyrotechnics. That means she sets fire to things.
Confidence in the show right from the get-go. Number one, they have Dominique Thorne, going out there talking about DEI, LGBTQ rights, and how there's no agenda there, and she continues to do so. But the other thing is that they also had Robert Downey Jr., and they had him roll out and really kind of prop the show up and prop the character of Riri Williams up above Tony Stark, and really tried to really have him really as the face of the Ironheart press tour, and it really just backfired completely.
Marvel Studios has found itself in hot water before, but the firestorm surrounding Ironheart might just be their biggest PR meltdown yet. And at the center of the chaos, Dominique Thorne, star of the series, who's gone from rising MCU talent to the subject of heated internet debates, viral outrage, and some seriously awkward damage control. This is Ironheart actress loses it after LGBTQ Backlash, as Marvel does serious damage control, a wild ride through fan fury, Hollywood panic, and a franchise that might just be losing its way.
HR.
The first character I could get behind is a bloke that loves knives and throws them at people. That's the foundation of a good TV series right there. That's why the show hated it.
Hi, I'm John. My parents didn't say I love you, so now I play with knives.
Hi, I've got 70 IQ. I can't abstract and think I'm the center of the universe. I can't comprehend anything that isn't me, so I just think men are broke.
When Ironheart was first announced, it was pitched as the next bold evolution in Marvel's sprawling universe. A tech genius teenager from Chicago, Riri Williams, building her own Iron Man-style suit and stepping into the legacy of Tony Stark. Fans were intrigued. The comics had already laid the groundwork for Riri's story. And with the success of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, where Dominique Thorne debuted, hopes were high. But then came the release. Almost immediately, the dream unraveled. Instead of applause, the premiere episodes were met with groans. Critics handed out guarded praise. But fans?
And why she's frustrated. That's how I feel watching her interviews.
How do you feel about the impact that she's having on young Black girls? And I'm going to be completely honest, on Black women.
This is yet another area that's getting vibrant. It's getting full in the way that it should be.
They were ruthless. Social media buzzed with disappointment. Lazy writing, shallow characters, political lecturing. On Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score tanked to 59% within days. Fans called it a cheap copy-paste of Iron Man 3, one of the MCU's most divisive films. The early backlash sparked comparisons to The Acolyte, another recent Disney Plus project, slammed for similar reasons. It was becoming clear. Something about Ironheart had seriously missed the mark. Disney and Marvel, snowing the smoke, rushed to contain the flames. Behind the scenes, execs scrambled to prop the show up. First move? Pull in the big guns. Robert Downey Jr. himself. Yes, Iron Man was wheeled back into the spotlight, not to appear in the show, but to hype it. RDJ began doing interviews about how Riri Williams represents the future.
It deserves your attention. Ironheart deserves your attention. That's how I knew. I was like, oh, they are desperate to get people to watch this damn show. But after I did my reaction, I kept getting, hey, it wasn't that bad. I just watched it. Hey, I just watched the first 3 episodes. It wasn't that bad.
How she could Eve. Surpass Tony Stark. It was the PR equivalent of hitting the panic button. But instead of winning over fans, it felt forced, even disrespectful. Many saw it as Marvel desperately trying to transfer goodwill from one character to another without earning it. And Dominique Thorne? Well, she took a different approach. As the criticism mounted, Dominique Thorne took to the media, not to apologize or clarify, but to fire back. Her statements quickly went viral. She accused fans of unfair bias, focusing too heavily on the show's LGBTQ+ representation and diverse casting. There is this tiresome narrative that characters like Riri contribute nothing to the MCU, she said. It's the opposite. She's more respected by her peers than Tony Stark ever was. Those words ignited a fresh firestorm. Comparing Riri to Tony Stark, a beloved, decade-long character arc brought to life by Robert Downey Jr., was seen by many as wildly premature. Fans didn't just disagree, they were offended. Thorne, down, saying critics couldn't be trusted anymore and that only truthful voices should be heard. The implication? That most fan reactions were politically motivated. What started as a conversation about storytelling quickly became a battle over identity politics. Ironheart was clearly designed to showcase Marvel's most diverse cast yet, with a focus on race, gender, and LGBTQ+ inclusion. Thorne highlighted this repeatedly, even saying the show was a milestone for trans and queer visibility. The problem? For many fans, the representation felt shoehorned in, less about organic character development and more about checking boxes. Others saw it as Marvel trying to lecture its audience rather than entertain. Of course, the other side of the argument is just as loud. Many fans and commentators praised the diversity, arguing that it's long overdue and vital for broader cultural impact. They accused the backlash of being steeped in bias, particularly from corners of the fandom T, have long resisted change. The clash became about far more than one show. It exposed a fracture in the MCU audience itself. Then came the next twist. Marvel revealed that Sacha Baron Cohen would be appearing in Ironheart as Mephisto, the infamous demon from Marvel lore. A fan-favorite villain often rumored but never confirmed, until now. This was Marvel's trump card, a major lore drop to lure back hardcore fans. Sound familiar? That's because the Acolyte pulled the same move with Darth Plagueis, dropping a major reveal late in the series to bait fans back. It didn't work then, and it's unlikely to work now. Bringing in Mephisto during a floundering series reads like a Hail Mary. Fans are calling it a cheap stunt, saying Marvel is wasting a major villain on a show that's already on life support. From the very beginning, there were red flags behind the scenes of Ironheart. Despite Marvel and Disney investing heavily in promotion, the energy felt off. Internally, Marvel were reportedly concerned about the early drafts of the script. Writers struggled to balance the complex expectations of modern Marvel storytelling, pushing boundaries while still entertaining longtime fans. What they ended up with, critics argue, was a disjointed story with little heart. Ironically, for a series titled Ironheart. One of the first major warning signs was how Marvel handled the press rollout. Rather than letting the story and characters speak for themselves, Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams, was front and center, discussing issues of diversity, equity, and LGBTQ representation. While these themes are important and resonate with many, it came across to a significant chunk of the audience as an overly defensive posture before the show had even aired. It seemed like Marvel was bracing for backlash instead of promoting a story they believed in. What's more telling is the reliance on big-name legacy actors to artificially inflate excitement. Case in point, Rob Downey Jr. being brought in to hype up the show and publicly praise Riri Williams as a character superior to Tony Stark. Fans didn't buy it. Instead of helping the series, it felt forced, like Marvel was trying to manufacture buzz that wasn't organically there. According to insider rumors, RDJ was contractually obligated to appear at certain events and wasn't even thrilled about the comparisons being drawn between Ironheart and Iron Man. Then there's the issue of internal reviews. Before the show ever reached the public, Disney conducted early screenings and focus group testing, and the results were anything but glowing. Word began to leak that the storytelling lacked cohesion, and worst of all, Riri Williams wasn't connecting with viewers. People felt she was a character being propped up by identity politics, not one built with meaningful narrative weight. Behind the scenes, Dominique Thorne reportedly grew frustrated. Sources close to the production claim she felt she had to def her character in the show's values from what she saw as an increasingly hostile fan base. This likely led to her explosive post-premiere comments, where she went so far as to suggest that Riri was more respected by her peers than Tony Stark ever was. That quote alone lit the fandom on fire. Let's be honest, Ironheart didn't drop into a cultural vacuum. It entered a battlefield in recent years. Marvel and Disney have found themselves caught in the crosshairs of a culture war that shows no signs of slowing down. On one side, there's a growing demand for diverse representation in media. More women, more LGBTQ characters, more people of color taking center stage. On the other side, fans who feel like beloved franchises are being hijacked for the sake of pushing social agendas. The backlash against Ironheart fits neatly into this dynamic. Dominique Thorne's vocal support for DEI and LGBTQ themes in the series became a lightning rod. She defended the cast's diversity and criticized Crit, accusing them of harboring implicit bias against projects with diverse leads. "We do unfortunately live in this era," she said, "where critics are unfair to projects when it involves people of color." For many fans, this felt like deflection. They weren't upset about diversity itself. They were upset that the show, in their eyes, used diversity as a shield to excuse poor writing and shallow storytelling. The perception that Ironheart was more concerned with checking boxes than building compelling arcs only fueled the fire. And while Dominique Thorne insisted there was no hidden message in the series, the constant focus on identity in public statements told a different story. This tension mirrors other recent controversies in Hollywood, like the fiery backlash Rachel Zegler received for her role in Snow White, or how Amandla Stenberg was criticized for The Acolyte. Ironheart became yet another flashpoint in this ongoing struggle, where fan skepticism is automatically framed as bigotry, and creators retreat into ideological silos. What Marvel failed to do, again, is strike the balance between representation and resonance. The result? A fractured fan base, declining interest, and a series that feels more like a political statement than an adventure in the MCU. The culture war isn't just a background noise anymore, it's front and center in every frame. So where does Riri Williams go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Marvel seems determined to make her the next big thing, whether the audience is on board or not. But with Ironheart's poor reception, they're going to have to seriously rethink their approach. Dominique Thorne has repeatedly said that Riri's journey is only just beginning. She described the character as bigger than Tony Stark ever was in terms of values and social impact. That's a bold claim, and one that sparked widespread debate. Can a relatively new character with shaky writing really measure up to the man who kickstarted the entire MC? Marvel reportedly has plans for Riri to appear in upcoming crossover events, and there's even talk of a Young Avengers lineup that would include her alongside characters like Kate Bishop and America Chavez. But insiders say those plans may now be on hold as Marvel reevaluates what audiences actually want. If the next 3 episodes of Ironheart fail to deliver, and early word suggests they may lean heavily on recycled plot points from Iron Man 3, then it could be game over for Riri's solo storyline. Even the introduction of a major villain like Mephisto, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, may not be enough to turn things around. Still, there's a silver lining. If Marvel listens, really listens, to both criticism and support, they have a chance to pivot. Riri Williams isn't beyond saving, but she needs better writing, stronger character development, and a story that resonates beyond hashtags and headlines. Whether fans embrace her in the future will depend not just on Dominique Thorne's performance, but on whether Marvel can rediscover the magic that made its early characters icons. And right now, that magic feels like it's slipping away. Episodes 4 to 6 drop July 1st, and insiders say they'll end with a cliffhanger designed to set up a major crossover event. There's speculation that this could tie into Armor Wars or even a dark multiverse thread involving Mephisto. Will it be enough to redeem the series? Probably not, but it could set the stage for Riri's redemption arc. If Marvel plays it smart, they'll shift the tone, refine her character, and give fans a reason to invest again. If not, Ironheart may join Inhumans and the Acolyte in Marvel's growing pile of misfires. The story of Ironheart isn't just about one show. It's about what happens when a billion-dollar franchise forgets the balance between message and magic. Dominique Thorne may believe Riri Williams can outshine Tony Stark. But if Marvel wants to prove that to fans, it'll take more than press. Hashtags. It'll take better writing, stronger vision, and most importantly, storytelling that earns the right to stand beside legends. Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, legacy isn't given, it's built. And right now, Ironheart still has a lot of work to do. Be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite fandoms, scandals, and shockers.